All right, we've got a very special panel lined up to debate the issue of black money. Remember, the finance minister is talking about looking at a proposal to offer amnesty to all those who may have black money stashed away in foreign countries. All this at a time when governance deficit is an underlying subtext. There's no escaping it here at the World Economic Forum, especially for the Indian delegation. Remember, the CII, the Confederation of Indian Industries, has even set up a special committee to look at various issues around corporate morality and corporate ethics, headed by Adi Godrej. Let's go across now to our business editor, Shweta Rajpal Kohli. She's with Anand Mahindra and Adi Godrej to talk about both the black money debate and also other governance deficit issues that are bound to come up here in Davos this time. Shweta, it's over to you.
Thanks very much, Barkha. That's right. Two of corporate India's most prominent names, Anand Mahindra and Adi Godrej, joining us live here from Indian Nara. Thank you both for talking to us. Let me first talk about the controversial issue of black money, because that's the big headline back home in India at a time when we are here in Switzerland, which is really considered as one of the leading destinations for black money. The finance minister has been trying to clear the air on the entire issue. Your first thoughts on some of the comments that the finance minister has made, the fact that we do not have the kind of legal framework that we require to get information on black money. Mr. Mahindra.
I'm delighted to tell you that I am blissfully ignorant on the topic, which is the way I think it ought to be for most businessmen. So that wasn't only a flip comment. I'm very proud to belong to a group which has not understood how to leverage that particular mode of operation. We have stuck to businesses where building a good consumer franchise was enough. And as far as I'm concerned, the world being as global as it is right now, I think we cannot afford to have parallel economies. So whatever happens to make us merge one legitimate economy, I think is good.
All right, so clearly Mr. Mahindra, they're saying that he doesn't understand black money, but we're talking about staggering figures, Mr. Adi Godrej. $500 billion is the kind of estimate. That's a huge parallel economy, and that's nearly close to half total GDP. Now, clearly, much more needs to be done to unearth that black money, and in that sense, the government's been going too soft and too slow on the issue.
I don't know where those numbers come from or who calculates them, and but it's a fact. I mean, all the world knows that Swiss banks have secrecy laws, so do banks of many other countries, and people who do not wish to show where their money has come from, some of them might be quite legitimate too, by the way, do put it in these banks. I think what the finance minister was referring to that you mentioned is you need to sign treaties with these countries. For example, Liechtenstein has turned India down, although they gave a list to Germany, because Germany signed a treaty with Liechtenstein, India has not. So it's a question of such treaties, and then you can get such information. But I have an opinion that that's not the way to solve these problems. The way to solve these problems is to run the Indian economy in a way that black money does not take place. Low taxes, no kind of graft in getting permissions, open up the economy, no case-by-case decisions by bureaucrats or politicians, and then there wouldn't be much black money. So I think that's the right solution. It's no use trying to find where the black money is, bring it in. That's not a bad thing to do. But the real way to do it is you should run your economy without any black money being generated.
Is that a practical thing? I mean, at a time when the government is really battling the entire revenues issue, the government needs more revenues, to go ahead and tell the government, well, yes, we won't have as much money going out of the country as illegal money if you lower the taxes. Now, is that a practical solution, Mr. Mahindra?
I think what Adi was saying is that it's far more practical than playing Inspector Clouseau and trying to unearth black money. What he was saying was, in a sense, addressing another very hot topic in both India and around the world, which is the governance deficit.
Right.
What Adi essentially was saying was address the governance deficit.
Right.
Create a climate of reasonable taxation, of very speedy and transparent and objective decision making, where you are not going to have a potential for rent seeking amongst regulators. And if you do that, then the very motive force for the creation of black money vanishes. You'll be doing a far greater service to the economy. In fact, a lot of this is a distraction from what Adi is saying. which is to address the governance deficit. That to me is a number one problem.
In fact, governance deficit is the big theme, especially after that open letter was sent out by 14 individuals, a letter that has obviously made big headlines. Mr. Godrej, you're actually heading the ethics committee by CII on the entire issue of governance deficit. It's something that corporate leaders have now taken up very seriously and are telling the government, we've had enough when it comes to these scams. We need to sit up and do something about ensuring that India's image isn't getting eroded because of corruption and a string of scams.
Absolutely. And I think business needs to have a code of conduct. Some groups do have an internal code of conduct. I think overall, if CII can evolve a code of conduct, that would be very useful. And I think we should work with the government, see how we bring in rules, regulation and laws that the need for corruption, whether or the ability to be corrupt, disappears, at least in a fair, short period of time.
All right, we will be talking a little more about governance deficit, black money and what to expect in Davos with you in just a bit. But let me go back to Barkha and Vikram at Holland House, NDTV's studio in Davos to talk about some of the other pressing issues. Over to you, Barkha and Vikram.
Thanks very much, Shweta. Well, very interesting comments there by Adi Godrej and Anand Mahindra, Vikram. Anand Mahindra saying you don't need an Inspector Clouseau to track down black money. Adi Godrej saying, well, more government, more political control isn't really going to help matters. Now, interestingly, one of our panelists, Dave Carr, who's the author of the Global Financial Integrity Report on black money, actually makes the opposite argument, suggesting that ever since liberalization, the amount of black money stashed away in foreign countries has actually gone up. Mr. Carr joining us from Washington. Good evening to you from Davos. If we can ask you for your first comments on the finance minister's argument here that while the government is willing to look at the notion of offering amnesty, something that the Americans did quite successfully in a bid to recover black money, there is no question of revealing names because India, after all, is bound by secrecy laws with other countries. Your first comments on Pranab Mukherjee's remarks?
Hi, I'm glad to be here on this panel. I'd like to point out a few facts. One is that after liberalization, what has happened was that the traded sector increased relative to GDP, and what that meant was that it offered more opportunities for exporters and importers to misprice trade. So basically, the observation around the world is liberalization is fine, but you got to dovetail liberalization with improved oversight. When you have liberalization without oversight, then the problem starts. And this is, in fact, at the heart of the global financial crisis as we know it today. The same thing happened with Wall Street banks. This whole euphoria about market knows best with no regulation, with no oversight, has led to a lot of abuses in the financial sector. So liberalization is not enough. So that's the one point I would like to make. The second point I'd like to make is that, yes, the finance minister is right that getting the money back, quote unquote, is easier said than done. I mean, this is basically, at the end of the day, a legal issue, a legal challenge. And as you know, the legal aspects of it is daunting. And there are several reasons for it. I mean, you have to prove in a court of law that a certain individual has taken the money out on a certain date, and the money that he obtained was through illegal means. These are not easy to establish on a case-by-case basis.